Hi, I'm Jane and welcome back. This is lesson 9. Yesterday we learned all about losing control and the amygdala, that fight flight, and not being able to think when you're like this, and how to regain control with a pet and be able to reconnect with your prefrontal cortex. Well, today I want to go over how you get to that stage, because it happens to all of us. And I find the easiest way to explain that is through having a glass and some water. Okay, let me give you an example. You might get out of bed in the morning and you're getting ready for work or school or whatever it is, and you've got no clean clothes. None of the ones that you want to wear are clean. So that's the first tip that goes into your glass. And you don't reach for a pet, you just keep going and you just still a bit grumbly. The next thing is you've got to get in your car and drive somewhere. And when you get in the car, you look at it and there's practically no petrol. You'll be lucky to get to the petrol station. So again, that's the next tip. And again, you don't reach for a pet. You just grumble along even more. But this time you're starting to get more irritable and more frustrated. The next thing you do is meet with your friends at the coffee shop, and you look in your wallet and you haven't got your credit card. Again, this is the final tip. Now your glass is full. Now the next tip doesn't have to be big because you're already full. So it could be just really small. It could be not being able to find your keys in your bag, or you're looking around and you can't see them, and all of a sudden you explode and you really lose it. What's happened is this: you have exploded. It was all too much and you have lost control. Because think about it, if I hold this glass, is it very heavy? No. I can hold a glass, we can all hold a glass full of water, but what happens if I hold it over a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years? This is going to get really heavy. And this is what's happening. People are filling their glasses with daily tips and never emptying them, to the point that when you add another tip and it only needs to be small, people lose it. Often we can look into someone's life who's having a lot of problems with their mental and emotional health and think, well, what's the big thing? And often it isn't. It's the accumulation of all the little, not one big thing. So, what are we going to do with this full glass? I think you know the answer to that, and that is pets. So how do we avoid getting a full glass? Okay, let's go over yesterday, the tips. The first tip was getting out of bed and wanting to put on clothes that either weren't clean or you couldn't find. So that's the first tip. Now what we did before is we didn't reach for a pet. So it meant that the next tip went straight on top of the tip that you already had. So we need a pet to empty that. And you might find that you put on your favorite music and have a bit of a dance as you're getting ready, and that helps empty your glass. The next tip was when you got in the car and there wasn't enough petrol. And see, we're doing it on an empty glass. Your pet might be then to put on your favorite podcast while you're driving, and that helps empty your glass. The next tip was you didn't have your credit card with you when you were at the coffee club. So that was another one. And the pet that you could employ could be allowing others to give, because that's a pet for you both then. Sometimes we get so independent that we never give people the chance to give to us. So maybe that's what you do. You ask one of your friends whether or not they would be able to just lend you the money for today and you'd pay them back. And that might be giving them the opportunity to give to you as well. So that's a pet for them all. So you can see how important these pets are to stop you getting that full glass. Because once it's full, it doesn't take much to then send you over the edge. So keep those pets going. So you do a tip and a pet, and then you end up with a balanced life. I'm also going to introduce you to another character, which is, this is GPS Genie. And yes, it's a GPS and it's within you. And it shows you how to read your body to know where you are, what sort of emotion you're feeling. You could be eating too much and you start to get a bit of a stomachache. Listen to that, because that's your GPS saying, oh, you're starting to feel uncomfortable, going on a bit of a rough road because you're full. If you're suddenly asked to speak in front of a whole lot of people, you could get sweaty palms. Now that's your GPS indicating that this is a bit uncomfortable for you, you're on a rough road, you need a pet to calm down. For example, you might be overworking and you start to get a stress headache. Getting those stress headaches right at the back is indication from your GPS that you're on a bit of a rough road and you need a pet to help relax you and take that tension away. So it's all about listening to your body. That's what your GPS is about. If something feels wrong in your gut, then it is wrong. Don't do it. Don't listen to peer pressure and what everyone is trying to make you do out there. This is your body and it's your GPS. So you listen to it. So today we've gone over how important it is, once you have a tip, that you empty your glass with a pet, because you don't want to end up with that full glass. And listen to your GPS, listen to your body. It's not only telling you where you are, but often it tells you where you should go from there. So thank you for tuning in again, and the next lesson is the last one. So I hope you can make that, because I'm going to go over the whole thing. So it'll be a summary of the last 9 lessons as well. Thanks for joining me.